Hey, everybody. On this day, this June the 14th, the day after doing a really big day out there, kind of taking it a little slower this day, went out in the morning, met up with a group of people, regular group that I was with. I arrived, and one of the guys who invited me on the day before was immediately being like, "Yeah, Michael here. We were on a big, like, 12-hour day yesterday. So all kinds of stuff, like bragging about it and, telling the stories and everything." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was there. It was pretty cool." So we do a little walk. We go through. It's pretty cloudy on this particular day. None of the photos are super great, but saw broad-tailed hummingbird. Excuse me. Saw it a few times. Saw something like there it was again, where it turned its head. Very neat. Stellar's Jay. Got some pretty good photos of Stellar's Jay. I'm happy about this. I've never really, like, there it is preening. I would learn. It would take a few more weeks before I actually learned, but by this point now, looking back on it, those little white patches on the Stellar's Jay only happen on this side of the Rocky Mountains. The Stellar's Jay that they get out, like, on the West Coast don't have those little white patches. So that's pretty cool. Didn't know that. Saw a bunch of stuff out there. More hummingbirds. That was really cool. There was a moment, I don't know if I've gotten lazuli bunting. There were several lazuli buntings. There was even an indigo bunting, but I saw it so very briefly. Not that one, that's another lazuli. Lazuli, lazuli, lazuli. Pronounce it how you want. I don't care. Indigo bunting, very far away. Did not manage to see it very close up. I did like this photo because you get all the different. There's a bunch of flowers in the coloration of this rock, and then there is an indigo bunting in the photo as well. I thought that was cool, but that's more of a landscape. Saw the magpie really close up. Got a really cool close up photo of the magpie, the black-billed magpie, which was particularly great. And then there was two real highlights from the morning. Um, I don't I kept getting them confused. The woodpeckers, the downy woodpecker has the smaller bill. The hairy woodpecker has the bigger bill. This is a hairy woodpecker hanging out in the hole of this tree. I don't know. I would assume, just immediately from this behavior and the fact that it would leave and come right back, that's a nest in that tree. But we went back the next week and did not see it at all. Stood around for a good 10, 15 minutes. So unless there were young in there that have already gone, maybe it wasn't actually nesting here. It was just hanging out there on this particular day. Not really sure, but got some photos of the hairy woodpecker at the nest, which was really cool. And then the other really cool thing that happened was the McGillivray's warbler. It was there. It was there for a while. It was calling. I took a bunch of pictures of it. Got my best ones that came out. Super happy about this. Brand new one. Life list. Excellent. Very cool. And then briefly, the other thing that happened, not that too many of the photos really came out, but I will mention things like in the evening, I went back out and I got pictures of these goldfinches and like a jay and some finches. Nothing super exciting. The blue-winged teal was pretty cool. But the reason this one was particularly special on this, the 14th of June, here in the evening, is that I led the group myself for the first time ever. It really was just a group. Every time I went out, and in this morning and the day before and everything, at every point up until then, there's a mix of ages depending on the group, but mostly it is older. Mostly I am the youngest person there, and such comments have been made before, like on the Kansas trip. I'm sure I talked about how the waitress, we're sitting there at a table and there's like 30 or 40 of us, and she looks at me and she's like, "You don't look like the typical bird watcher." I played around with her. I was like, "Well, whatever do you mean?" And she got kind of shy and didn't want to keep, explaining what she meant or anything, because she realized what she was saying. But the lady next to me, who's retired and of that age, leans over and she goes, "I think it means you're too young." And I go, "Yeah, I know, but I wanted to see if she would say that." That's pretty typical. It's kind of mostly an old person's hobby, but not always. And there are young people. So I led a group of the younger than me crowd, I think, all adults, but ranging. I do think I'm the oldest of that group there. And it was just like, "Hey, I'm going out on this particular day to this location. Anybody want to join?" We got a group text going. And I think 3 people showed up that day. There was going to be a fourth, but couldn't make it. So we've done that, and it's been happening a little bit more since then in the following weeks. But yeah, it was really cool to go out, and I just like, very nervous, obviously, but I managed to push through that and go, what have I learned over at least the last 6 months of going out with other people? What do the leaders usually do? They try to point out every bird that you see. They try to fill in with information, just kind of talk through, oh, here's what I know about this one, and here's what I know about that one. And like by the end of it, everyone was thanking me and telling me I did a really good job, and they were shocked that that was the first time I ever led a group. They thought it was just like I'd been doing it for a while. And so I was really happy about that. That was cool. And I'm glad that I've got a group of friends to go birding with more often. And kind of a lot of the things that we saw this day, like the blue-winged teal, were brand new life birds for some people who have never, like, very, very new to this. And so it was like, hey, even getting to see it for a moment, you see how there's a bit of blue there. It's hard to tell, but, besides seeing that crescent moon shape on the male, you get to see a little bit of the blue. That's why they're called blue-winged teals. Hopefully I'll show them a green-winged teal one day so they get to see that. And see, I don't remember, there may have been one out on this day, but I didn't take a photo of it. Conditions were not great. It was pretty cloudy and not a lot of light. Like, yeah, I cleaned this up as best I could, but it is not the best photo I've ever taken by far. Doesn't matter. Had a great time. Led a group for the very first time. It went really well, and I'll be doing it more. I've already done it, but I will be doing it more in the future. Super excited about that. Great day. And in the morning, I added a new one to the life list. What else can you ask for? It was a great day. Bye, everybody.